two reasons why I am buying South Carolina this year and two questions I have for the Gamecocks, because there are a couple of rather serious questions. Let's start with the questions, shall we? Number one, did you know the Gamecocks had 5 players drafted last year and they were all on defense? That's tough. You got to find that production somewhere. Doesn't mean they don't have it. Just means you have to find it. How long does it take to find it? That might be determining whether or not South Carolina gets to the playoff. One in particular, Nick Emenwari, drafted by my Seahawks. I'm recording the show from the Seattle area, fun fact, and we like him. We're content. We're content with the draft pick. Mike McDonald could do great things with him. Anyway, there's some talent you have to replace. Number one. Number two, LaNorris Sellers, his highlights are awesome. And that's what most people probably know. You go to YouTube, you search LaNorris Sellers highlights. Wait, why is everyone so high? Oh, that's why. Oh, yeah, that guy's the talent to win the Heisman. Yeah, he kind of does and could put up the numbers to do it. However, a quarterback who's pressured on 43% of his dropbacks is making some spectacular plays because he has to, not because he wants to or is able to. Obviously, he is able to, but it wasn't necessarily option one. So the offensive line has to be better. You got to replace the defensive talent. Those are the questions for South Carolina. However, LaNorris Sellers is one of the reasons I buy the Gamecocks. You can't watch that guy play football and not think to yourself, boy, I could see him having a great year. I could see him leading his team. He's got that it factor. He went on the road and won at Clemson last year. That was the ACC champs. He went on the road and led a game-winning drive, and he's just that dude. He's just that dude. Progression as a passer, warranted, to be desired for Gamecock fans, but overall, I like LaNorris Sellers. A lot of people do. Number two, if I were to rank my top 5 coaches in the SEC, or frankly top 3 for game day X's and O's on those 12 beloved Saturdays in the fall that are very close to coming to reality, by the way, Shane Beamer might be in the top 3. I'm a Beamer ball kind of guy. This is somebody who has done a good job. I won't say a great job. He has done a good job with the Gamecocks program. He's won a lot of games where he's punching a little above his weight. You need look no further than last year's game against LSU, which they should have won had the officials not robbed them of the opportunity. Now, they made a few mistakes themselves, but there was a call on that game that shouldn't have been made. It doesn't get made. They probably win the game. They're 10-2. They're in the college football playoff. I don't think they get to the playoff this year, but boy, I think they're going to give it one heck of a run. I do like them over their win total. Vegas thinks they're a regression team. I'm not in that camp because I like Beamer. I like Sellers. I want to see what weapons emerge. Look for Nick Harbor. He's a freakish athlete. His position is what's called football player on the offensive side of the ball. But their schedule definitely is far from a cakewalk, shall we say. Virginia Tech is up first, a neutral site game, because why go on campus where fans want to be? Let's have Blacksburg and Columbia go meet in Atlanta, I guess. I don't know what we're doing here, but I think they're going to beat Virginia Tech. They're about an 8-point favorite. They should be. I talked about the Hokies not long ago on this very program. I think they'll be a little better than last year if they can keep Kyron Drones healthy. But last year should have been better when he was healthy, so I'm not going to put them over South Carolina, who I have preseason power rated number 5 in the SEC coming into this year. South Carolina State, Vanderbilt, I think those are wins. At Missouri, I think that's a win. People have been kind of high on Missouri the last couple of years. I've never been that sort of guy. I think they're fine. I don't think they're great. That's one that could certainly get tripped up in a battle of the Columbias. That was a Jeopardy clue within the last calendar year or so, which city has which city shares a name in the location of 2 different SEC schools. It's of course Columbia, Missouri, and Columbia, South Carolina. A factoid I will never forget, and I hope you never will too. But I think they have a better roster than Missouri. I like the quarterback situation more than Missouri. I think the head coaches are kind of a wash. I think Drinkowitz is good. I think Shane Beamer is real good. So we'll give the edge South Carolina there. Kentucky is a win, so I like a hot start for South Carolina. 5-0. They go 5-0. You might see them ranked inside the top 10, quite frankly. I mean, Virginia Tech's a respectable win. Missouri's a respectable win. Heck, Vanderbilt is a respectable win. There's no great win yet. They'll have a chance to do it in their next game. They go to Death Valley. They play at LSU. I like LSU this year. That's a program that has got a lot of pressure on it to make the college football playoff in Brian Kelly's 4th year. I think they're going to win at home against South Carolina, give the Gamecocks their first loss. The only other game that I think, I have two. The only 2 other games I think South Carolina loses, which is why, again, I'm surprised. 7.5, it's a tough back half of the schedule. Sure, I'll grant you that. I mean, you get the SEC cupcake late in the season there, so that's at least a bit of a break. But it's breaking up a pretty brutal stretch for the Gamecocks. At LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M, Coastal Carolina, and Clemson. That's not what you would call an easy stretch of football to play. I would like to point out, I have no objections with South Carolina's schedule because they play not 1, but 2 Power 4 non-conference opponents from the ACC, meaning they have 10 Power 4 opponents. You put 10 Power 4 opponents on your schedule, I'm never going to knock you. But I think South Carolina will lose to Alabama, who I am very high on. I do think they will lose at Ole Miss. I think there's a stumble opportunity in here. I think between Ole Miss and Texas A&M, they're going to win one and they're going to lose one. I like Texas A&M more than I like Ole Miss going into this year. I'm down more than most on the Rebels. I'll probably get to them later this week with Stephen Willis of Locked On Ole Miss and get their record prediction here on the show. But I think Ole Miss is fine. Good enough to win a game at home. I would not pick Ole Miss to go into Columbia again this year. I know what happened last year. I'm well aware. That's part of the reason I'm giving respect to Lane Kiffin, because he did outcoach Shane Beamer in a big way last year on South Carolina's home field. I wanted to go for the revenge factor, but there will be a good home field advantage there in Oxford, as always at the Grove, and which is a great tailgate environment. Gosh, I would love to go to that one day. And Texas A&M is definitely a place that they could lose. I think it's a place where they can find a way to get it done between those 2 games. And then I do think they beat Clemson at home. Beat them last year, barely on the road, coming back home. Could have a playoff berth on the line. We'll see how things ultimately shake out for South Carolina and company. But that game against Clemson, who I think could be the Ohio State of this year, a team that goes 10-2, gets into the playoff and could get hot and go on the run with a veteran quarterback and a veteran head coach that's shown a propensity to win big games from time to time. I think South Carolina is really interesting. Do I want 9-3 to get into the playoff? No, I don't, because I want the results on the field to actually matter. I don't want teams to be able to lose and then be able to go, well, that's okay. As long as we beat all the teams that we're actually better than and kind of do okay sort of against the teams that are on the same level as us or better than us, we can still get into the playoff. I don't want that. I supported South Carolina getting left out of the playoff last year, even though I agree officials screwed up in the LSU game. I think we all agree at that point. You can't let Ole Miss walk onto your field and steamroll you, and then the Rebels went out and lost to Kentucky. That put you in a tough situation, but I want those results to matter a heck of a lot. I think South Carolina will get a lot of good ones this year. I think this is an easy team to really like in the SEC. This is a pretty big expectations. I'm sure you have some, I would think. I'm speculating here. I don't think it's unreasonable to say it's a playoff or bust year for South Carolina. I think that's kind of fair. I don't place that expectation on them, but I see how someone could get into that particular mentality. So South Carolina, 9-3. I like the Gamecocks, but would like to see more from the offensive line before I could pick them to do all sorts of incredible things like go to LSU and win a bunch of other really tough road games and beat Alabama, who I think will be really good. But they almost knocked them off last year, so hey, crazier things have happened.